So, hello everyone and good evening. I hope I find you happy, healthy, hale and hearty. Everybody, it's been a while since I came online and spoke to you like this. It's been a pleasure to be investigating this topic. एक बहुत important, urgent और relevant topic जो आज हमको discuss करना है. That's about AI UPSC preparation. You see, once a technology has entered the fold, there is no denying. There is no denying its existence. You have to deal with this. AI, whatever it is, अच्छा है, बुरा है, कितना ठीक है, कितना नहीं है, how to use it, कितने काम का है, कितने काम का नहीं है, and if it is useful, then exactly what purpose does it solve for us? क्या इस्तेमाल करा जा सकता है इसका, क्या इस्तेमाल इसका नहीं करना है? What are the limits? What are the actual practical applications? I'm going to demonstrate some of them. I've been doing a lot of research on this, and particularly about UPSC aspirations, UPSC preparation, you see. And I've come for some, actually it's a mixed bag. मेरे conclusions हैं, some of them are highly positive, some of them are not so encouraging as far as this new technology is concerned, but this technology is there, and yes, I do believe it will change the face of UPSC preparation. As we go further, this technology more and more will change the examination itself. It will slowly start to change the way we approach this examination. This effect it will have, and this effect it has the potential to have. I will demonstrate practical ways to use how this works. All right. Now, the first thing to realize that there is a difference between a tool and a toy. You can use this as a tool, you can use this as a toy. I will be focusing on the tool part. I don't think it's a bad thing to use it as a toy also. I mean, you can play around with it, but don't waste too much time in it, because I will very quickly just cut through all the nonsense and get you straight to where exactly you need to use it. And then I will suggest certain guidelines on how to use it, and I'll tell you what you should not be doing with it. And then we'll go slightly beyond the UPSC, just slightly beyond the UPSC. And we'll talk about exactly what else it can do for us, for people like all of us. Yes? Okay. Shall we begin? Shall we dive right into it? Let us begin. It's pleasure, obviously. Shivani, Riti, Upasna, many old students are here, and many new students here. It's always a pleasure talking about this stuff with you. I'll go straight into it, and I will tell you one of the biggest uses that it can have for us as a tool. What it can do. The first thing it can do for us, जो highly valuable है, जिसमें बहुत cognitive labor चाहिए, जिसमें बहुत affect, we have to put a lot of mental labor in it. That is creating memorization. At some point or the other, some amount of memorization is required, especially static content. The static content of GS, it is able to do certain things जिसमें बहुत intellectual labor लगती है. If I ask you today, Pratiksha, Himanshi, or Nandan, or Prince, or anybody, if I ask you कि हमको लक्ष्मीकांत के निमोनिक्स बनाने हैं ताकि सारे एक बारी याद हो जाए, समझ लेने के बाद जो मेमोराइजेशन का पार्ट है, आई शुड बी एबल टू आउटसोर्स इट. तो क्या मैं वो कर सकता हूँ? उस निमोनिक्स को बनाने में मुझे 1 साल लग जाएगा. इट विल टेक मी 1 year टू build mnemonics of all of those separate things. I don't have that amount of time. I need to cut across this stuff really fast, right? So let me show you what I did. Just one example for you about see what it can do and the extent to which it can help us. Yeah. Here, you see, just before the session, I will zoom this for you so that you can read it. Just let me know if you can read this. Are you able to read this? पढ़ा जा रहा है? Preeti, you have my best wishes. You have my best wishes. Absolute. Big happy birthday. Yes. So I gave it a very simple prompt. है ना, मैंने इसको बहुत simple prompt दिया है कि create mnemonics for the articles of the Constitution. Creating mnemonics, you see what it has done. Creating mnemonics so and so, part 1, unit. सबसे पहले तो इसने 4 बता दिया हमको जल्दी से, बहुत जल्दी याद होने वाली चीज़ है, और बहुत अच्छा निमोनिक इसने बना के दिया है. ये AI है. The type of mnemonics AI will create, humans will not be able to create. ये वो कॉम्बिनेशंस चूज कर सकता है वर्ड्स के जो हमारे दिमाग में नहीं आएंगे. हमको क्रिएटिव होने की जरूरत पड़ेगी. we'll have to think about all the combinations, we'll have to arrange, rearrange, वो सब कुछ ये बिल्कुल जीरो कर देगा. It will just eliminate it. This is also a very good mnemonic it has created. I was not able to come up with these mnemonics. ये definitely इसकी ability है that surpasses humans. ये हम इससे अच्छा नहीं कर सकते. हमको इसको memorization के लिए, mnemonics के लिए, memorization के लिए, we should definitely be using it to whatever extent possible. Obviously, I mean, don't get so excited that you can just completely outsource it. That also is not possible. अब देखिए कितना अच्छा निमोनिक बनाया है फंडामेंटल राइट्स के लिए. इट इज अ ब्यूटीफुल निमोनिक एंड इट इज सो इंटुइटिव आल्सो. फ्रीडम निमोनिक बनाया है इसने एंड एफ इट स्टैंड्स फॉर फंडामेंटल राइट टू इंट्रोडक्शन, राइट टू इक्वालिटी, फ्रीडम, exploitation, religion. So this is a good mnemonic. And if it does not make sense, you can give it a prompt also. You can give it a separate prompt to tell it to do what you want it to do. Similarly, so on and so forth. Now, if I wanted, this is just one example. If I want, then I can give it more prompts to go more fine grained. मैं बोलता हूँ अगर पार्लियामेंट का चैप्टर मैंने कॉपी पेस्ट कर दिया कहीं से, सपोज if I am able to copy paste it, or Parliament ka chapter I am able to prompt it to analyze and give me a summary, then it should be able to do it in a very less amount of time, right? This is a very good anywhere. So here is the thumb rule. Here is the thumb rule. This is a really great tool for any type of memorization. Because of that, it is going to lend us very drastically to a few purposes. Anything factual, anything static, it can help us capture. Anything factual, anything static, it will help us capture. इसमें we will be able to cover most of our geography, physical geography, economic geography. We should be able to cover most of our polity. We should be able to cover most of our history. Let me give you another example. Just before this session, I gave it a prompt. I took a chapter from your book, the NCERT book. What noise are you talking about? There does not seem to be any noise. There's still some noise. Is it better now? Is it better or is it worse? Any version is okay. ChatGPT 3.5, ChatGPT 4, जो भी आपको ठीक लगे. 3.5 will do most of these things. इतने एडवांस्ड उसकी जरूरत नहीं पड़ती और ज़्यादा I don't think we need to go too deeply into this. जितना हो रहा है उतना ठीक है. I'll tell you the limits of it. I mean, we don't need to go overboard with this. Is my audio clear enough to you? Because I need to show you something very cool. I need to show you what happens when I told it to summarize the entire chapter. This is your Bipin Chandra, okay? This is the Bipin Chandra that you see on your screen. I basically just took the text and I told it to give me notes. Notes बनाने के लिए मैंने prompt दिया इसको. This is the notes. These are the notes it has created. ये पूरा का पूरा chapter copy paste है. हाँ, the whole chapter was copy pasted and see what it has done. पूरे के पूरे चैप्टर के इसने कंसाइज नोट्स बना दिए. लुक एट दिस. इट वॉज एबल टू समराइज द होल थिंग इनटू वेरी वेरी स्मॉल. इसमें कोई एज सच आई हैव नॉट फाउंड एनी फैक्चुअल एरर. वट एवर इट हैज डन, इट हैज बीन एबल टू डू प्रॉपरली नाइसली. कोई एज सच फैक्चुअल एरर इसमें नहीं निकले. एंड दिस वॉज अबाउट 20 पेज चैप्टर. 20 पेज का चैप्टर ही है, सारा का सारा टेक्स्ट. एंड आई एम एबल टू हैव इट समराइज फॉर मी इन अ वेरी नाइस वे. तो मुझे नोट मेकिंग की I can outsource it to some extent, but एक ज़रूरी बात हमको पता होनी चाहिए. We should always remember. It can summarize, it can make things easy, but it cannot comprehend for you. The processing of the information, the processing of the knowledge, वो हमको ही करनी पड़ेगी. ये बीच का एक स्टेप हमारा रिड्यूस कर सकता है. It can reduce about 20 to 30% of our effort. बस, that is it. That is what it can do. You understand what I'm saying? इट कैन नॉट डू एवरीथिंग. प्रोसेसिंग हमारी ही है, बट एक जो बीच का स्टेज होता है जब हम बुक पढ़ते हैं, बुक के बाद वी हैव टू समहाउ गिव इट अ स्ट्रक्चर. उसको स्ट्रक्चर देना होता है और उसको स्ट्रक्चर में नोट्स को कंडेंस करना पड़ता है. दैट टेक्स अस टाइम एंड दैट टेक्स अस एफर्ट. वो थोड़ा सा रिड्यूस हो जाएगा. अबाउट 30% वी कैन आउटसोर्स इट टू दिस मशीन. All right. This is one thing it can do. I was able to give you two examples. One is memorization. The other is condensation of notes. ये generative AI very powerful in doing this stuff. There is another thing it can do, and that is simplification. Now, let me show you an example of how it has given us some semblance of simplification. Let me ask you, Pratiksha, Madhu, Devanshi, some concepts are always important and somehow aate hi hain, and many of the concepts which escape our attention, which escape our knowledge, which are not so easily understood by people, are sometimes concepts of macroeconomics. Macroeconomics के concepts, repo rate क्या होता है, इन्फ्लेशन और एम्प्लॉयमेंट में क्या कनेक्शन है, करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट और फिजिकल डेफिसिट में क्या रिलेशनशिप है, इज देयर एनी रिलेशनशिप, व्हाट डज करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट सिग्निफाई. ये सब जो कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं, इस टाइप के कॉन्सेप्ट्स, किसी भी चीज़ में जिसमें कंसेप्चुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग ज़्यादा है और जो आसान नहीं है, ये थोड़ा सा एब्स्ट्रैक्ट है, इट कैन हेल्प यू देयर. एंड लेट मी शो यू हाउ इट डिड दैट. I prompted it to explain to me the idea of repo rate. This is my prompt here. I said simplify the concept of repo rate. एक बारी देखते हैं what it has given. इसने बताया मुझे कि the repo rate is a tool used by central banks to control the money supply in the economy. Think of it as an interest rate at which commercial banks can borrow money from the central bank. The repo stands for repurchase agreement, which is a deal where banks sell securities to the central bank with a promise to buy them back at a future date at a higher price. The difference in price affects the interest, effectively making it the interest rate of the loan. I don't think it's highly simplified, but I will tell you a thing or two about answer writing also. Here is a simplified way to understand it. Now this is important. This is useful. When the repo rate is high, borrowing money becomes more expensive. As a result, they may increase interest rates for loans to their customers to make profit margins. This can lead to decreasing borrowing and spending by businesses, helping to cool down inflation and slow down the economy. Simple one-line statement that will do what we need from it. Correct? There is another extension of this simplification that you can use. Now, I don't really recommend this too much, but we can use it for visualization. I'm telling you guys to not go overboard with this. Overboard नहीं जाना है, but कुछ concepts, especially जो visual subjects हैं हमारे, subjects which are highly visual, subjects that if you see them, then they make more sense. Such as many concepts in many concepts in geography. जो भी क्लाइमेटिक सिस्टम्स हैं, जो भी ओशन करेंट्स के सिस्टम हैं, जो भी जियोलॉजिकल सिस्टम्स हैं, दोज कैन बी सिंप्लीफाइड. अच्छे से ये कर सकता है. बट यू कैन यूज द चैट जीपीटी फ्री वर्जन, नो प्रॉब्लम, इट्स फाइन, इट डजंट मैटर. आई थिंक दिस टूल यू विल हैव टू गो टू अ इमेज जनरेटर टू डू, बट आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि अगर ज़रूरत पड़ गई, सपोज यू वॉन्ट टू समहाउ go into that direction and go to that level where you really want to see, तो फिर क्या करना है? You will go to a AI tool like Midjourney or DALL-E or something. आप थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लोर करोगे, आपको मिल जाएगा. You can ask it to visualize. The visualization will not be really good. It will not be very good, but it will be okay. This is the visualization that it has done for continental drift. I asked it to explain to me what is continental drift, to visualize. इसने मुझे विजुअलाइज करके दिखाया. आई डोंट थिंक इट्स अ रियली गुड थिंग, बट समटाइम्स इफ यू गिव इट अ नाइस प्रॉम्प्ट, इट कैन बेसिकली गिव यू अ मच बेटर आइडिया. या essentially, yes, that is one thing that it can do. Now let me take you a little bit further and let me tell you some of its more interesting applications. You know how it can help you in your essay? Just last week I took a session, a lecture on using artificial intelligence for essay generation and for essay writing essentially. So it's a very important thing to make a distinction here. It will not be able to write an essay for you. It will not be able to write an essay for you, but suppose you want to understand and you want to compare. You wish to compare and you want to make sure whatever should have been written in the essay you've written. Suppose you want to understand, were you able to capture all the dimensions? You want to understand, did the essay topic make sense? Did my interpretation of the essay topic actually make sense? Was it what really the essay topic was about? For instance, एक बहुत famous essay topic that was asked in the previous year was all those who wander are lost. All those who wander are lost, or all those who wander are not lost. अब what is it that is the wandering being referred to? किसी चीज का वो, was it a metaphor for something? What exactly the statement mean? What are its origins? If you ask AI to give you an essay, it will write a very good one. Let me tell you that. Because this is what the AI does. The AI will, it's a generative AI, so it will write a good essay, and I don't think you should try to mimic it. Do not try to mimic it. Do not try to think that it will be able to show you what you have written versus what it could have written. But what you can really do, and that you can really do, is figure out what type of essay does it generate. Let me try to generate one essay live, and let us see what it does. We had a lot of fun with this in that class, you know. Well, so whatever I'm doing will work on ChatGPT 3.5 also. Not a lot of difference. Will not make too much of a difference. No need to worry about it. So I am going to give it the prompt, write a 1,000-word essay on all those who wander are lost. And I can also tell it to include Indian examples, suppose. Include examples from India. And off it goes. Let's see what it does. All those who wander are lost. The adage, all those who wander are lost, seems to challenge the romantic notion of wandering as a path to self-discovery and enlightenment. अब सीधा enlightenment पे और spirituality पे ही आ गया है. But it has done a lot more. It is already telling me that it will refer to Indian history, it will refer to literature, it will refer to contemporary society, and then it will tell me about more essentially what this all means, right? I can see here mention of the Mahabharata. I can see the Pandavas 13-year exile. I can see here the Buddha being mentioned, and obviously he's going to take you into spirituality and all of these other things. Oh, he's also talking about, you see, this hippie culture in the 60s and 70s, pop culture. There was a period, you see, the generation of our parents or one generation before that, when this idea was highly romanticized. And this open exploration was suggested, and a whole generation of the 60s and the 70s did this. So this is the type of essay it can generate. Again, when it does this, बहुत अच्छा essay generate होगा, बहुत अच्छा content होगा, but इस content को mimic नहीं करना है हमको. We cannot and should not expect to write like this. It can only give us points. It can only give us reference points. This is a reference point. This is not even a model essay. ये AI generated essay है, ये model essay भी नहीं है. It can give us a reference point about what all I should have included. What all I should have included, how I could have structured it, मैं इसको structure कैसे कर सकता था, इसकी अच्छी presentation कैसे कर सकता था, मैं अपनी बात बहुत कम शब्दों में अच्छे से कैसे बोल सकता था, और मैं पूरी ऐसे का फ्लो कैसे मेंटेन कर सकता था. This it can tell me. It can tell me this for every essay ever asked. Right? That is a big deal. That is not a small thing. For every essay ever asked, it can do this. You know what I'm saying? That is something very useful and powerful. Now, another interesting thing it will do. It will do something similar if you give it the prompt for answer writing. Or answer writing is one of the things which some student was abhi just asking me in the chat. ये actually में एक high impact area है. This will change the way you see answer writing, and it is going to have a long-term impact on how you write answers and what is your definition of a good answer. अच्छा आंसर क्या होता है exactly? I'll give you a very difficult question. I will give you a very difficult question that was asked in the previous year. It is not clear how that question was supposed to be answered. बहुत accurate knowledge चाहिए थी उस question को answer करने के लिए, और बहुत अच्छे analytical skills भी चाहिए थे. The question was, in fact, the first question of the paper. How will you explain medieval Indian temple structures, temple sculptures, representing the social life of these days? Medieval Indian temple structures. How did medieval Indian temple sculptures? So it's not only talking about architecture, it's talking particularly about sculptures. Represent the social life of, let me show this to you and let us see what it outputs. I mean, some of the prompts I have given it, जो UPSC में पूछे, the answers it has presented are phenomenal. I don't think anybody can write quite like that. तो ये बहुत काम की चीज़ है. So I am asking it, how did Indian temple sculptures represent the social life of the times? Explain in 200 words. Let us give it 200 words. Let us see what it does. So read this if you can. It is saying medieval Indian temple sculptures offer a fascinating window in the life of the social life of times, encapsulating the richness and diversity of daily activities, religious practices, and cultural norms. These sculptures adorning the walls, pillars, and facades of the temple, not merely religious icons, but also a canvas depicting contemporary life. Crafted with meticulous detail, they showcase a variety of scenes from royal processions, courtly life, martial activities, to more mundane aspects such as farmers at work, artisans in their workshop, and traders in bustling markets. Moreover, these sculptures captured the intimate moments of human life, including familial interactions and romantic liaisons, providing insight into the social norms and personal relationships of the era. The representation of various classes and professions in these sculptures suggests a society that was complex and stratified, yet interconnected through various forms of social and economic engagements. The attire, like hairstyles and ornaments depicted in these sculptures, reveal much about the fashion and aesthetic preference of the times, highlight the regional differences and the influence of various dynasties that ruled over different parts of India. Furthermore, the depiction of dance, music, and other art forms within these sculptures underscore the cultural vitality and the significant role of the arts in daily ceremonial life. Thus, so and so. अब बहुत अच्छा आंसर लिखा है, बहुत ही अच्छा आंसर लिखा है. Let me ask it to write the same examples. Write the same with more examples. With more specific examples. I think अभी भी it has, जो भी इसने आंसर लिखा है, it is better, it's a better answer than most people will be able to write. But now the one it is outputting, this is the clincher. अगर ऐसे या इसके आसपास भी कोई कुछ लिख के आ रहा है एग्जाम में, very very high marks relative to other people will be awarded. एक बार ही पढ़ते हैं क्या लिखा है इसमें. It has written, medieval Indian temple sculptures vividly encapsulate various social fabrics of the era, serving as visual narrative that spans the spectrum from the divine to the terrestrial. These artistic creations found in temples from Khajuraho to Tanjore offer detailed representation of everyday life, rituals, and the hierarchical structure of medieval Indian society. For instance, the sculpture at the Khajuraho temples in Madhya Pradesh are renowned just not for their erotic imagery but also for depicting various facets of daily life, including women applying makeup, musicians playing instruments, and farmers tending to their fields. These images provide a lens into the personal and social activities, highlighting the importance of both the mundane and the sacred. Similarly, in the Sun Temple of Konark, in the south, the Brihadishwar Temple of Tanjore. तो ये आंसर जो है, this is a phenomenal answer. वो जो आंसर हम assume करते हैं normally, that answer, you know, which has a lot of facts, it has a lot of points, it has a lot of detail, does not always answer the question properly. इसने आंसर भी किया है, इसने एग्जाम्पल्स भी अच्छे दिए हैं, और इसने ऑर्गेनाइज बहुत अच्छे से करा है. इफ़ यू वांटेड, यू कैन टेक इट वन स्टेप फर्दर. यू कैन हैव मोर फैक्ट्स. जितने इसने फैक्ट्स डाले हैं उससे कम हम फैक्ट्स यूज कर सकते हैं, बट एक रेफरेंस पॉइंट बहुत अच्छा देता है ये. दिस इज अ रेफरेंस पॉइंट दैट हैज टू बी अप्रिशिएटेड, राइट? सो दिस इज समथिंग इट इज एबल टू डू. अब जो that mystique and that mystery as far as any answer writing stuff is concerned is solved. This is what the UPSC is asking for. इस टाइप का आंसर उनको चाहिए था. जिसको जो बोल रहा है वो बोल सकता है. I don't know what people may have different opinions, but this is the fact, is it not? This machine is analyzing all the information in human history available on the internet, which is something very historical, something which is factual. And it is extracting this information from God knows what we do not know. We in the exam will not be able to do this. Will not be able to do this. But we can take inspiration from the way it has done it, from the way it has created that answer, from the way it combined the facts with and जो examples use करे हैं इसने, the examples that it has used, the Brideshwar temple, it has used the Konark temple, it has used Khajuraho. These are common sense examples. ये सब वो स्कल्पचर्स हैं जो सबको पता है इंडिया में. हम यूपीएससी एस्पिरेंट को तो पता ही होते हैं, वेरी बेसिक लेवल आर्ट एंड कल्चर टाइप नॉलेज. उसी में इट हैज यूज्ड इट इन अ नाइस वे एंड इट हैज पुट इट इन आंसर दैट कैन नॉट बी बीटन. ये है इसके एडवांटेजेस. दीज आर दी फ्यू थिंग्स दैट द एआई कैन डू बेटर देन अ ह्यूमन. These are the few things. Now you don't have to wait for somebody कि आपके कोई आंसर चेक करके आपको बताएगा कि इसका क्या आंसर होना चाहिए, नहीं होना चाहिए. Of course that is good. बहुत अच्छी बात है अगर कोई बताता है तो बहुत अच्छी बात है. बट एक मॉडल आंसर कैसा होगा, उसमें क्या होना चाहिए क्या नहीं होना चाहिए, वो ये रेफरेंस दे सकता है. एआई से बेटर नहीं कर पाएगा इंसान. दैट इज वेरी सिंपल, वेरी क्लियर. Even though now I need to tell you something. Now we need to be a little more realistic. I will give you a task, Snigdha. I will give you multiple tasks. I want to tell you a few things. Please understand this. Please understand this. Do not misinterpret the message of my session. I have given you the 3 or 4 very practically oriented, actionable insights on what the AI can do. Okay? However, most of the things that are required, 90% of what is required, is not going to do for you. It will not comprehend content. The processing of that content has to be yours. Always has to be yours. Okay? The processing it will not do. Ultimately, this information has to be inputted by the human into the brain. You have to read the NCERT. You can ask it to simplify, but it will not read for you. If you read the summary that it has given you, it will not comprehend it for you. You have to figure out what it will do for you. It will not be able to do current affairs. The current affairs it will not be able to do. The data bank is limited. अभी उसकी 2021 के आसपास इंफॉर्मेशन है. करंट अफेयर्स के लिए हेल्प नहीं कर सकता. ये जरूर कर सकता है. दसरी व्हाट इट कैन डू इस करंट अफेयर्स का डंप लेके हम इसको दे सकते हैं कि समराइज कर दे. इट कैन समराइज इट फॉर अस. अगर हम थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा क्रिएटिव हो जाएं तो हम इसको एक करंट अफेयर्स का कंटेंट का पीस देके बोल सकते हैं कि इस पे क्वेश्चंस फ्रेम कर दो. इट कैन क्रिएट मल्टीपल चॉइस क्वेश्चंस आल्सो. दैट्स अनदर एप्लीकेशन दैट यू कैन डू. इट कैन क्रिएट मल्टीपल चॉइस क्वेश्चन. बट इतने सारे टेस्ट सीरीज हैं, हमको करने की जरूरत नहीं है. हमारे पास इतना टाइम भी नहीं है. वी आर नॉट कंसर्न विद मेकिंग क्वेश्चंस. अब हर चीज़ के हम क्वेश्चन बनाने लग गए तो फिर देन वी विल ऑल स्पेंड ऑल आवर टाइम इन दिस. दैट्स नॉट आवर पर्पस. वी हैव टू गेट ऑन विद इट. एंड दीज 3, 4, 5 थिंग्स आर द मोस्ट बैंग फॉर द बक एक्टिविटी जो इस पर करनी चाहिए. नंबर 1, इट विल नॉट कॉम्प्रिहेंड कॉन्टेंट. प्रोसेसिंग हम ही को करनी है हमेशा. तो प्रोसेसिंग के बीच का एक स्टेप when we have to take the text and we have to organize it in a structure in notes, you call it flowcharts, that it will be minimized. बस that is it. इससे ज़्यादा expect भी नहीं करना इससे. What it will not do is it will not give you a strategy. It will not be able to give you a strategy because it does not have information about your lifestyle. It does not have information about your schedule, about your peculiarities, about your position, about your problems. It does not know. It will just give you a random general type strategy. That is not a strategy. That strategy you will find anywhere. Most of the people I think nowadays who are preaching strategies are using AI only to give you a strategy. So that is not a strategy. It cannot do that. It cannot predict the paper. It cannot predict the paper. It will only, number one reason it cannot predict the paper is because the data bank is not updated and the UPSC question paper is very dynamic. Current affairs ka element it will not be able to cover. Number 2, it will not be able to predict the paper is because it's too fine-grained. I have given it this prompt. Everybody will give it this prompt. I'm telling you this year before the prelims, everybody will claim that they have been able to predict the paper. और हर कोई आपको ये ChatGPT की वो दे देगा summary. You can give it the prompt and you can see हो सकता है 1-2 क्वेश्चंस आ भी जाएं, but that doesn't help us much. We cannot expect it to do that. All right? These are the things it cannot do. My very strong, emphatic suggestion, very forceful and important and very what should I say? Something that really makes me a little bit nervous is that you should not misinterpret the use, and you should know what are the limits it has. It is a ready reckoner. It is a guide. It is not a teacher. It cannot teach. It can simplify. It can tell you content. It will not comprehend. You understand what I'm saying? Now, this is how you can use it for UPSC preparation as we go. As we go ahead, I will suggest some more practical ways of using it. I may even tell it, give it certain prompts to make certain content easier for you, but even I will be able to only give you this content. Processing is not possible. जहाँ तक मैं कर सकता हूँ. I can give you tasks. I can give you assignments. I can keep you on track. I can try to keep on supplying that emotional, motivational energy. Again, I cannot give you the processing power. You have to do that yourself. Nobody will do that for you. No, doesn't matter what type of support infrastructure you have. Ultimately, processing हमारे को ही करनी पड़ेगी. ये जो अंदर बैठा हुआ AI है, this natural organic computer which is made of flesh and blood, this has to be exercised. This is what ultimately will be saving you or not. Okay, so that's one. Now, another thing which we cannot ignore, which should not ignore, which we should talk about openly. What about beyond UPSC? Beyond UPSC, there are a lot of things that we can discuss. A lot of things it can do. But हम लोगों के लिए UPSC aspirants, हम ऐसी situation में most of the time we are in a situation where our financial future is uncertain. We do not have financial backup and we don't really know what to do. It is really good for certain things. Here are a few things that you can do with regards to AI. Using AI today. बहुत अच्छी CV क्रिएट कर सकते हैं हम AI को बोल के. It can create a resume so good कि हम खुद नहीं लिख पाएंगे. There are those GPTs. If you see ChatGPT 4 जो भी इनका पेड वर्जन है, जरूरत नहीं है उसको लेने की. But if you are dabbling, then you can find that it will be able to create a CV for you. Just give it some details. It will create a fantastic LinkedIn profile for you. It will not create a profile, but it will write a description. बहुत अच्छी attractive description लिख देगा वो. बहुत अच्छी आपकी image. You can use the AI generated image to make your image more professional. You understand? These are some of the things it can do. इसको we should use it for simplification and all those things. And then beyond UPSC, we should use it to help our careers. Let it make your CV. Let it make your LinkedIn description. Let it suggest certain ways to network in the correct areas that you want. No, Aisha, you should not purchase anything. Do not purchase it. It's free. ChatGPT 3.5 से काम हो जाएगा. You do not need to purchase anything. It's an open tool. Just use it. And it will be able to do what you need to do in that limited space. That's all there is to it. So that is what I wanted to say. Have you understood what it cannot do? This is all I wanted to say. I've given you some demonstrations. And of course, I can now create tasks और बहुत सारे tasks बना के हम बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं अब इसमें. Now that the new technology is here, and now that this new change has occurred, you understand what I'm saying? It has to be dealt with. But who are the people who will deal with it the best? Who are the people who will deal with it in the most constructive way? Who are the people and how exactly will they leverage it? अगर आज की डेट में, if today there is a certain section of the population, जिसको competitive advantage मिलेगी, कोई ना कोई तो है out there who will use this better than the others. Somebody is out there, your competition, who will use this to get ahead. How will they use it? Who will be those people? You will be those people. आप करोगे वो सब काम आप. You can do that. But you have to stay under control. हमेशा याद रखने वाली चीज़ है, I'm repeating it for the sake of repetition, for the sake of clarity, at the risk of repetition, I am telling you, tool versus toy में बहुत important चीज़ है. Toy नहीं है ये. It is not a toy. It is a tool. इस tool के 4-5 applications हैं. वो 4-5 एप्लीकेशन है। सबसे पहले ये मेमोराइजेशन, निमोनिक्स बहुत अच्छे बना सकता है, टाइम सेव कर सकता है हमारा। इट कैन गिव अस सम ट्रिक्स दे सकता है हमको ये। इट कैन सिंप्लीफाई वेरी डिफिकल्ट कॉन्सेप्ट्स समटाइम्स। Sometimes it can help us visualize very difficult concepts. It can create phenomenal content for essay. It cannot teach you writing. It will not be able to make you a better writer. It will make you a better critique of essays. किस टाइप के जो यूपीएससी में क्वेश्चंस पूछे जाते हैं ऐसे में, उसमें किस टाइप का कंटेंट होना चाहिए, कैसे लिखा जाना चाहिए, 1000 वर्ड्स का बेस्ट यूटिलाइजेशन कैसे होगा, इट कैन डू दैट. It can do the same thing for ethics also, but not for case studies, I think. I mean, you can give it a shot. Ethics, maybe you can copy paste a case study and tell it, ask it to give you the answer. I think to some extent it will give you a decent answer. But one of the most high impact areas, answer writing. Answer writing, reference points, model answers. It can create, which are phenomenal. It will cut short your time if you are analyzing previous year questions. बहुत छोटे टाइम में exactly बता देगा वो क्या करना है और क्या लिखना चाहिए था, what should have been written. So you can inch closer and closer and closer to that. You understand what I'm saying? I have also repeated and I am repeating again. It cannot comprehend, it cannot strategize, it cannot predict the paper. Last but not the least, but super important, go beyond the UPSC. If you're going to use it, have it build a nice CV for you. Have yourself available, present on LinkedIn. Make sure people are there to discover you. Make sure that you have alternatives. अगर यूपीएससी सिर्फ एक चीज है जिसको हमने that has really captured your whole life, that's fine, it's fine. But if you need to move ahead, if you need to open a plan B, if you need to open another door, you can use this tool. It can help you. Bard AI, ChatGPT is they're all the same, more or less the same. ChatGPT, Bard, जो भी दोनों ठीक हैं. They're both equally good. They will both do the same job. They both have the same technology. It's like Windows and Firefox. What doesn't really matter much. So that was my message for you guys today. That was the information that I wanted to share. I hope that it has made some sense. I hope you've taken something useful from it, something substantial from it. Like I mentioned, there is somebody out there that will be using it to get better. I want you guys to be that group of people, okay? And I want you guys to be the group of people that avoids getting sidetracked also. हाँ कर सकता है, it will do a prelims analysis. You can do it. You can do a prelims analysis also. I will take another session for sure on the roadmap because it is time. Every month हमको बार बार ये roadmap revisit करना ही चाहिए और हम करेंगे because we are coming close to the prelims. 11th class is too soon, Saloni. You can relax, enjoy life, experience class 11th first. This UPSC is not going anywhere and it is not a piece of cake. So many of the students here will attest to that. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you very soon. I hope you had fun. I hope we had some valuable things said, understood, learned. It's always a pleasure speaking to you. I will see you very soon for some new sessions based on AI and some of the new things that I've been wanting to do. Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure. Good night.